Olivia, we'll go ahead and start here on Zoom with any hands.
Okay, we're going to start with Alex Simon.
Hi, Sandy. To kind of have to pull this game out, especially with that point in the second quarter where they take a 15-0 run, what does it say about the performance from this team to pull out a win like this on the road in the knockouts again?
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot, really. I mean, we're gritty. I think we're tough-minded, and we stuck together. And, you know, obviously a playoff game, any game, has a lot of momentum changes. And, you know, we struggled in that second half to score. And, you know, at other times throughout the game, you know, it's not very often when you look at the stat sheet and you're shooting 54%. But, you know, that's the pressure of the game here. And I was really impressed with our defense. I mean, that's what, you know, we just locked them down a little bit better than we had at the end when it really mattered, even though they made some big shots. So really proud, really proud. It's not easy. And I mean, it helps obviously having Diana back, and she's not 100% obviously, but certainly made big plays when we needed it.
And obviously Seattle was, just like you guys kind of expected, doing a lot of that double teaming in on Griner, but it seemed like by the fourth quarter and really throughout the fourth quarter and even a little bit into overtime, BG was able to kind of fight those off and just continue to assert herself offensively. What did you kind of see from the way she moved through the game to end up kind of having the day she did?
Yeah, look, that's an area we still need to get better at. Just our execution against the trap, something we see all the time, but it's more like getting her out of movement, you know, not just running the play for it, but it's the secondary, you know, the side that we can get a little bit more open shots when we're making other players playing different actions, so they can't just focus on just trapping her. Yeah, so she was big for us, but a lot of it was also from, you know, offensive rebounds too, following it up and pick and rolls and rolling out of it. I thought, you know, Skylar does a great job of getting downhill and lobbing it into her, and that was a big play right near the end as well. But yeah, BG, like, I thought she was awesome tonight, but her defense, and it wasn't just her scoring, but her defense was, you know, it was tough. And, you know, we get an opportunity to keep playing, so we're happy.
We'll go to Michelle Vopel and then Mark Carlisle.
Yeah, Sandy, can you kind of, I guess, give a sense of what you guys are doing defensively? I mean, Jewel had a really tough game today, and you know, compared to 37 points last time. Can you give us that sense? And then also, just from a basketball standpoint, what it means to see Diana and Sue there standing at the end together?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think at the start, you know, Jewel, she had an amazing game. She was in the zone that last time that we played her, and she's a handful. A lot of it was one-on-one. We just changed. We know Russell sets most of the screen, so we changed our matchup on that so we could be a little bit more aggressive than having Brittney having to handle that, and allowed her to rotate a little bit more out of that. So we tried to be just played her a little bit more aggressive. We crowded her a little bit more. She still was able to score some, but we made it pretty hard for her. So, you know, we threw different people at her. It wasn't just Skylar, it was Shea Petty, you know, Kia Nurse at times. We wanted to make sure she saw as many different looks as possible. But she's a great player. Like, you know, it was, you know, we had to make her work hard for it, and we did. As for Diana and Sue, I mean, you know, amazing. I actually played with Sue in Seattle one year here, and special moments there, and what a career that she's had. It's fantastic. I mean, they're just, you know, the best of the best. I mean, obviously they're great friends, but to see them both out on the court, I don't know what Sue's plans are. I'm sure Diana's playing again, but I think that's a pretty special moment because their career is spread out over decades.
Thank you.
We'll go to Mark Carlisle and then Jeff Metcalf.
There we go. Sandy, you mentioned, you know, the defense kind of tightened up down the stretch at the end. How much was Turner a part of that, especially with her big block there in overtime?
Yeah, I mean, Turner's part of it every game. That's her responsibility. It's just her activity. Like I said, we wanted to make sure, you know, in the pick and roll that we're loading up the paint. We didn't always do that in the first half, but trying to make it, you know, protect the paint a little bit and bringing our other post player over and trying to leave their other post player spaced. And that was a big block. You know, I think Skylar did a great job on Lloyd, and especially in those last, you know, 10 minutes, to be quite honest, just locking in, and it was like a duel, both of them going against each other. But yeah, Breezy's been great for us. She anticipated, that was a, you know, obviously a great big block. We knew where the play was going. She was just in the right position and made the play.
And then was there a specific focus on trying to limit Lloyd this time out and not have a repeat performance of what she did? Was that in the game plan headed into today?
Yeah, that was the main part of the game plan today. And that's why we changed the matchup so Breezy could get aggressive. We started trapping her, we were hedging her, we're doing a variety of different things. We're showing her different bodies. She was number one, number two, number three. We have a lot of respect for the rest of them too, but we thought if we could take the head off the snake, so to speak, that would, put us in a decent position, but we had to fight like crazy. I mean, what a great game. Obviously there's always going to be one team disappointed, but I have so much respect for Noe and the Storm, and obviously they're without Stewie, and we got our goat back. She was a little fatigued out there. I'm not sure she'll be able to walk tomorrow, but she grinded it out and found a way.
Next will be Jeff and then Danny Thompson.
Can you go into a little more detail on the decision for Taurasi to play, and then just what you thought of what she did out there today?
It was all Diana's decision. And she just said, I'm going to warm up. I'm going to see how I feel. And then we're going to make a decision. And so 30 minutes before I was told she's in. So, okay, let's shuffle it around a little bit. We've played with her multiple times, but just to have her leadership out there, her passing ability, the calmness, it's a big thing for us. This is a playoff game. We all want to win. It's a knockout on someone's opponent's court. I think just her being out there makes everyone else calm down a little bit. And I thought she played well. For someone who hasn't been able to run for 3 weeks almost, to go out there and play and really was so tired, but I couldn't take her out the last 15 minutes. And to come in overtime and make 2 big plays. I mean, if that's why they talk about she's a GOAT, because she finds a way. So really, really happy for her, obviously, to get back on the court. She loves this game, and she loves being out there with her teammates, and we're happy that she was out there.
I had another question for you on the plays at the end of regulation when Skylar was kind of holding the ball and then trying to get to the basket. Did you decide then in overtime you need to switch that up a little bit, the play where she got in there and then got to ball to Griner, that sort of thing? Just talk about some of the strategy there if you could.
Yeah, we wanted the same thing at the end of it, just to try and get her going downhill and creating for others. So the strategy, it was the same. The execution was just a little bit better. I mean, that's what it comes down to, I mean, there'll be sometimes like, oh, that was a crap play, but you try and put them in the positions where you think, can create for others. And, we did. We made some plays. She made a great little lob over to Breezy as well, Brianna Turner. And that's what she does. I told her to forget about the free throws, her and BG. I mean, we probably should have won that in regulation, but we found a way, and we're on to. We just got to wait and see who we're going to be playing next.
We'll go to Danny Thompson and then Paul Richardson.
Coach Danny Thompson with a 3-point conversion. Great win and great to see you as always. Shea hasn't been shooting the ball very well, but tonight, like you mentioned before, defensively on Jewel Lloyd, I think she had 4 steals tonight. How big was it for her to concentrate on the defensive end if her shot isn't falling offensively?
Well, I mean, that's playing your role, to be quite honest. I mean, in the last game, she didn't shoot the ball well, but she has been shooting the ball well. But her role is not to be, the scorer. Her role is to be, a defensive player and a point guard facilitator, but looking for her options out of the movement. But her defense was big for us. It allowed us to give Sky a little bit time off Jewel, because that's tiring chasing someone like that around. So that was the strategy behind that. So get Shea, every time she was in there, she had to be guarding Jewel Lloyd just to give Sky a bit of a break.
Next will be Paul Richardson and then M. Adler.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. It really seems like BG is accepting, knowing at this point she is the best player on the court, offensively and defensively. What is the difference, you think? And not saying that she hasn't been in the past, but it seems like she's playing mentally like she knows that. What do you think is the difference there?
Yeah, I'm MVP, and she. But she's letting the game come to her. She knows she's going to get so much attention. because you have to bring a trap because it's Brittney Griner. Just her footwork. There was areas I thought we could have probably given it into her a little earlier, a little more often, but we got a little bit of movement out of it. Just she's playing with poise, and I think that just comes from maturity, as just have more experience as a basketball player. And I think all players would say that they get way smarter after playing 10 plus years in this league. And she's just very calm. She's happy. She's happy off the court. I mean, it shows with her performances on the court, but she just gets better and better. And I think back in 2014 when I took over, that's why I said the sky's the limit for BG. And I thought, I told her I thought she gave up some shots tonight when we were trying to raise her. But we've seen her shoot threes too and shoot that elbow shot a little bit more often than she did tonight.
We have time for 2 more on Zoom. We're going to go to M. Adler and then Kenneth Minogue.
Just wanted to ask, what did bringing Breezy like you did sort of towards the middle to the end of the fourth quarter, what did bringing her as the screen in the primary action allow you to do to sort of negate Seattle's double teams on BG?
Yeah, well, that's a strategy we have to use because that's the person they're trapping off, Breezy. They're trying to give her the shot and leave her open. So sometimes you put her in the action, it allows BG to be a spacer or just in the weak side action. Takes all the focus away from that, allows us to move the ball a little bit more too. So, that's just something that we use from time to time, and it's more about just seeing what the other team's doing to us defensively and trying to make the adjustments, and hopefully that game it works.
We'll go to
Kenneth.
Kenneth.
I just want to ask, oh, sorry. No.
Kenneth, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Sandy. Just wanted to ask, obviously looking ahead, not too much, but how does the preparation for a series differ from that of a singular game?
Well, it's a series. I think for the teams that are in a double knockout like ourselves, fly wherever we are and play on Tuesday, we'll do our best, put it that way, but it might be pretty hard. So, but it just gives us the opportunity to make adjustments from game to game. What works, what doesn't work, and keep competing. Our goal is to win the next series. But we have, we've got time to, obviously, it's going to be a bigger chess game because you scout that one game and how can we exploit them in the next game. It's making those adjustments, and then who's going to come out and make plays really. Can you defend and then can you make plays? So both teams, obviously, Connecticut or Vegas, they're tough. That's why they're 1 and 2, and we just got to be prepared to know we got to fight, we got to keep competing, we got to stay together, and it'll be a good opportunity to get Bria Hartley some more minutes. That I think that will be good for us because that's another playmaker, and I think she's slowly working her way back into some good health. So having another option on the bench will certainly help us in a series.
We're going to go to in person for a few.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you first about Kia Nurse and her defensive assignments. And then also you mentioned Noelle Quinn. Obviously you, her, and Dallas is no longer in, but Vicki Johnson are 3 former players that are still coaches. If you can just talk about the coaching pipeline that you've seen and how it's grown over the years in the WNBA.
Yeah. First of all, Kia Nurse, she's been really big for us defensively. We brought her in as a shooter. She plays her role. She's always playing hard. I think her defense has gotten better, to be quite honest. She's, really bought into what we want to do there and competes. And she was big for us. We're missing free throws. It's like, okay, next one up. Who's next? Okay, Kia made some big free throws down the end. So really happy for her. And this is the first time in her career she's been in a WNBA playoff. So to get to go to a series now, that's, we're very excited in our locker room, but we know the job's not done. In regard to Noe, I actually coached Noe. Noe was in Phoenix, and such a joy. Those players, she did a job, great role player and just tough and smart. So, it's great to see her as a head coach up here. And, I think there should be more players, former players as head coaches in the league. Hopefully that will continue to grow. You see more players, obviously, as assistants now. There's 3 of us, but hopefully in the years to come, we can continue to grow that because, hey, regardless of they say lack of experience, it's not lack of experience because you played for so long. That gives you the experience to be able to go out there and know how to handle a team. So we'll see what the future holds, but there's great coaches in this league, so don't get me wrong in that regard, but it's great to have obviously former players as well.
And then coach, in a game that goes down to the wire, in this case goes to overtime where every possession matters, just talk about how critical it is to have a dominant post player like BG.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have, I mean, it's just someone you can like throw the ball into at the end of the shot clock. I mean, you can lob it up to her. But I think it's more about her leadership and her growth as a player. Because, you can put the ball in her hands and usually something good happens. I think she made 2 bad passes where it's like, that wasn't a great pass, but she doesn't do that very often. She makes good decisions. But it's just been fun, as coaches, you like to see your players grow, and they're all growing. But BG's certainly taken big steps up, and not just in her game, but in, like I said, her leadership and her understanding of the game. And she gives feedback as well too, and I like that. She's been a coach out there. Hey, let's, and I think that's good. That's critical. So it's been fun to watch, and it's great that everyone gets to see her play a little bit more in the next series.
Coach, it seems like it was forever, but I'll take you back to the second quarter. You only scored 9 points, and that was the only quarter that you did not win. What adjustments did you make? And obviously it worked.
Yeah, I mean, probably could have killed the run there too, but we got great looks. We missed, to be quite honest. It wasn't, I just thought we had missed. So for me, it's more about let's stay the course. But it's 20 minutes. This is our season. I mean, that's just building on their pride and their fight. We got to compete. There can't be any, you got to get over. Don't get too high, too low. We didn't change too much up. We were just trying to move the ball a little bit more, get better shots. And defensively, for the most part, it was working. But when we got a little fatigued, that's when we allowed them to make plays. And, this is a great team. So I think the adjustment was just a little refocus, to be quite honest. Okay, every possession really does count right now. Thanks, guys. Good luck.